All right, so the judge denies Jay Z's request to throw out the case, so let's get into it. I want to welcome you back. If you've watched some of my videos before, if you haven't, my name is Jamahl Kersey. I am a criminal defense attorney. I've been practicing law for over 15 years, and on this channel, we are breaking down legal concepts so you're in the know. Well, at its core, Jay Z and his lawyers filed motions on two separate grounds. One was they wanted the Jane Doe in this lawsuit to reveal her identity, right? So they were basically saying, judge, make her reveal her identity or dismiss the case. And then they also filed a separate motion, which included a motion to dismiss the case based on all the inconsistencies that we heard Alex Spiro talk about before. So let's deal with the first issue in terms of Jane Doe being able to proceed anonymously. So generally speaking, you have to put your name on a complaint, right? If you are filing a complaint against somebody, you're suing somebody, you have to make yourself known. And it, goes without saying why that would be the case, right? As a defendant in a case, you have a right to know, who it is that's suing you. The public has the right to know, who is availing themselves of the courts. But there are exceptions where a court will allow a plaintiff to proceed anonymously. And in this case, the judge basically said, we have one of those exceptions here, primarily based on the fact that the plaintiff was only 13 years old when she alleges that she was drugged and raped by two different men, right? And so given the sensitive and personal nature of these allegations, that's going to weigh in favor of anonymity. One of the other things was part of allegations from other cases against Puff basically coming back to, haunt him and Jay Z, right? Because Busby ended up saying, hey, I represent a bunch of other people and we've filed lawsuits against Diddy and he has come back and threatened them for, filing these claims. And so therefore, as it relates to Jane Doe in this case, I'm asking that her identity not be revealed, because I already know if her identity is revealed, then Puff's going to send his people and either, somehow find a way to threaten her or try and dissuade her from moving forward. And the court took that into consideration. There were other factors as well, but suffice it to say the judge is allowing her to proceed anonymously. But she also said, hey, I can't, I mean, this is temporary because as this case goes on, there is going to be prejudice towards Jay Z and Puff that they're defending themselves basically against a phantom plaintiff. They have no idea who this person is. And so we will probably revisit this decision. But at this early stage in the game, I'm going to allow her to proceed anonymously. And so I'm going to grant the plaintiff's motion. Jay Z had also filed a motion to dismiss this case, basically saying that he did not do this. These allegations are baseless. They're meritless. They're salacious, and it's essentially not fair, right? That he should have to defend himself in this case when there's all these, objectively provable inconsistencies, right? We have the father not recalling having any such conversation or picking his daughter up. We have, the lack of the location. We have Benji Madden, who was not at this party. He was somewhere halfway across the nation. He essentially raised the same issues in this motion as he raised in that PowerPoint presentation. And as I had mentioned, the judge was not going to throw out this case, not at this early stage in the game. And so I know Alex Spiro had to know that there was no chance that this motion was going to get granted. I think on some level, there's probably some sort of desire to appease a client who just wanted him to do something, do anything, right? Just try and make this happen, do what you can. And, we saw that there were a number of filings and the court pointed that out. The court said, hey, listen, this case, as it relates to Jay Z, it's only lasted 17 days, but we've had a litany of letters and motions filed by Sean Carter's counsel. And one of the other things that she mentioned that I said she was going to mention is that, hey, all this mudslinging and talking trash, lawyers against each other and throwing out all these criticisms and the like, listen, this is not helpful. All you're doing is wasting judicial resources, you're wasting time and money, and it's not doing any sort of benefit to your client, and the judge made that very clear. And so, that's what I said, at the very first chance that this judge gets to, put her foot down and let the parties know, I'm not going to be dealing with these shenanigans, she was going to make that or take that opportunity. And that's exactly what she did in this ruling. And so this isn't really a lengthy analysis because there's just no basis at this point for this lawsuit to be dismissed. At its core, Jay Z, just like anybody accused of these type of things, especially if they're innocent, and I don't know if he is or not. Like I've said, I am a fan of the artist, I'm a fan of the businessman, and so I'd like to think that this didn't happen, but I don't know him. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I know that there are a bunch of inconsistencies, at least that have been pointed out from this interview, which could have the effect of it being, less likely that this happened, but I don't know. And this is, what Busby is going to have come back and said, hey, listen, there can be all kinds of inconsistencies surrounding this situation, but as it relates to the core thing of her saying that these two men violated me, yes, Jay-Z obviously is saying that I didn't do this, right? But that alone, saying I didn't do this and look at all these inconsistencies, that's not a basis alone for a judge to just throw out a lawsuit at this point. They're going to have to go through the discovery process, which again will be written questions, directed from the plaintiff to the defendants and from the defendants to the plaintiff. They exchange all that information. Then, we would get to the deposition process. And then, once you have all that information, then, if the defense finds it appropriate, they can then file another motion to potentially dismiss the case. But until they've gone through that whole process, the judge just was not going to throw out this case. So I think that, again, Alex Spiro is obviously a very experienced lawyer, a very brilliant attorney, and he had to have known that these motions didn't have a chance of getting granted, but you do what you can to appease your client. But I think that if they have not already had this conversation, that needs to be had, that, you're in it for the long haul. This case is going to be going on for a while. And so just be prepared for that. So this case is going to move forward at this point, but there's obviously a lot of layers to this situation. Jay-Z had filed a lawsuit accusing Tony Busby of extortion. He recently added defamation to that lawsuit. I want to address that in another video coming up soon. Well, let me ask you this. Were you swayed by Alex Spiro's presentation? Did you think that the judge was just going to throw this case out immediately? Or did you think that Jay-Z was going to be in this for the long haul? Listen, Alex Spiro raised some excellent points in his PowerPoint presentation. It's just that procedurally, it's too early for a judge to just throw out a case based on a defendant saying that the case should be thrown out. Well, if you got something out of this video, show me some love, hit the like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications so you never miss a new video when it drops. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.